How are we doing, guys? We are back again with the opposition preview. Leeds versus Liverpool, an English football classic. We're joined by two fantastic guests. We're joined by Mick from The Copite. How are you doing, mate?
All good, mate. Thanks for having me on. It's been a long time coming, but I finally got on. So nice one for inviting me.
Good stuff, man. And Chris Brack from LFC Day Trippers joins us again. How are things, mate?
Not bad. I feel like a regular now.
That's good. Good stuff. And Mr. Wayman, how are things, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Excited for Monday night. It's going to be a mouth-watering tie for us and for the neutrals. Do or die time for Liverpool now, so there's a lot of pressure on it. So it's going to make for a very, very good game of football, in my opinion, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, for the next couple of hours at least, I think, until Norwich's game's finished, we are the reigning champions. Both of us are the reigning champions. We can still claim that, can't we? We can still claim that. We're still the reigning champions. It might not last forever, but Chris,
we can't claim that anymore because we can't catch them.
Yeah, but they've not won it yet. Anything can happen. You can still claim it for now. Don't be like that, Chris. Come on, mate. A bit of positivity, man. What's gone wrong then? Because the season started fine up to Christmas. You look well placed to do it again. I didn't see anything going massively wrong. Van Dijk got injured, but you were still getting the results. And ever since kind of 2021 hit, what's happened, mate?
I think 2021, before 2021 hit, that was the last time we had a settled centre-back partnership of Matip and Fabinho, and we had a fit Jota. And then we played Jota in that Champions League game, whether people like it or loathe it. He's been out for 3 months, and that probably hid. I think Jota was hiding a little bit of in different form from other strikers, mainly Manny and Firmino. And because of the lads we've now got at centre-back, whether it's been Henderson and Fabinho, which takes out a lot of pace in the middle, and then when you have got them back, you've got Kabak and Phillips, who are solid enough defenders. One thing they don't have is pace. So what Liverpool were very good at last year was with Van Dijk and Gomez, we could be 10, 15 yards higher up the pitch and almost like camping people's halves. And that's how we'd smother teams, we'd create more chances. We're 10, 15 yards deeper than we normally are, which means it's taken as long as to get up the pitch. And unfortunately, Manny, this is probably the worst form I've ever seen Manny in for Liverpool. I'm hoping it's just a bad season. You know, all players have them. I'm just hoping that's what it is. It's just one bad season. Just thank Christ we have Salah.
No, exactly. I mean, Mick, Mane's an interesting one. I think up until like the start of like this season, I'd have said he's probably one of the best wide forwards in European football in terms of goals and that lot. And now it just seems like a distant memory, that kind of Mane. In terms of last season, I thought he's probably the best player from what I saw of Liverpool games.
Yeah, I think it's a confidence issue with Mane. Like, I think he's a victim of his own success as well. He scored 20 plus in his previous 3 seasons, so he's only got 12 this season. And by his standards, like you said, he was, and it is, in my opinion, still the best left wide forward in the world. It's just he's just going through a bit of a sticky patch at the moment, and we just kind of need to see if he's going through a rut, or he needs a bit of time out the side, which will come at the end of the season, and then we go again next season. But like Chris said, it's so glad we've had Mo Salah to bag 28 goals this season and kind of get us out the crap a little bit, because he's still been on fire. But yeah, like I echo completely what Chris said. To be honest, the whole mentality has just kind of gone out the window in terms of what we're all about, being so much further down the field. We can't press, still got that pace in behind, but usually it's a Van Dijk ball or a Matip ball or a Gomez ball over the top, and we're in and we score, and we can't do that anymore. And that's kind of our main weapon. And now that we haven't got that, we're having to go to other ways of doing it. And the fact that we're still in and around top 4 for me is huge, and we can still get in there. Obviously after the West Ham great result today.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad, Joe. West Ham losing, is that hell? I don't know.
I don't know, because anyone that loses above us, mate, it's a good thing, so we can get this 7th spot for the Europa Conference League, man. This is where I'm hanging my hat, man. I've been saying it for a while, but just when Mick's speaking about there, obviously, I had a look in the previous game, that 4-3. Which was a bit insane at the start of the season. You know, they started with Van Dijk and Gomez. Matip came on as well in the second half. I think don't know if he came on for Trent maybe, but he came on the pitch at some point anyway. And and the fact that they don't have them, obviously Henderson played as well. It's a massive plus for Leeds United that they don't. And I don't know if I'm being overconfident, but I said this. Where my head's at now with Leeds at the moment, and where Liverpool are, I'm thinking at least a point. I'm thinking at least a point at home, and that's crazy to think that that's where my thinking is. But that's just how much things have changed in this season, which I don't think any of us envisaged would happen, mate.
My big worry from a Leeds point of view going into this game, and it might sound a bit harsh because he was absolutely superb against City, probably had his best game in a Leeds shirt against City, Alioski. I look at Alioski against Salah and Trent on that side of the pitch. I know Trent's not on it at the minute, but I'm just still thinking, ooh, that might be... Because Salah against us at Anfield, he was the difference maker. I didn't think there was much difference between the two teams. Salah smashes one into the top corner from 30 yards out, which we can do nothing about. And that's my worry, though, mate. I don't know if you'd agree with that, mate, from a Leeds point of view. Salah against Alioski is a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you say, there was times in that first game where Salah would put Liverpool back in front and like be laughing. It was like he was playing on a park with his mates kind of vibe. He just totally grabbed that game by the scruff of the neck and won it for Liverpool. Of course, look, you've to be wary. Even look, Mane not being in great form, it's still someone that up against Ayling. Although I think I always remember Ayling nutmegging Mane, and he did an interview actually. I forget who he turned round to. I think he turned round to Tyler Roberts, who was in the stands, and was like, "Did you see that? Did you see that? I nutmegged Mane." But then Mane actually nutmegged him from about 10, like it was miles away where he nutmegged him from. To be fair, but listen, it's always going to be tough. Jota as well. Jota is someone we need to be wary of. Exceptional footballer.
Absolutely. But I've got to say, I think Salah, for me, and says over the years, is probably the best player in the league for me. I'd probably go as far. I think obviously you got your character KDB, players like that, but I just think Salah is just inevitable in terms of getting goals and that lot. He's got 28 this season, did you say, Mick? I mean, he is the man at the minute. But obviously, just looking more negative from a Liverpool point of view is the midfield problem. Obviously, I was amazed Thiago didn't start either of the games against Real Madrid. I thought that was the purpose of bringing in Thiago for a big European tie, and he puts him on the bench. I mean, what's been going on with him?
Do you want me to go, Mick, or are you going?
I don't know. Was that for me? Sorry. Or...
Yeah.
I'm not honestly. I'm not sure because that one for me, I was surprised by no Thiago as well. But I think he wanted to have a bit of a voice in there with Milner, which I understand. But it's been a difficult one for Thiago because he's came into a team where we obviously thought we were going to have Van Dijk and Gomez, and I mean we as Liverpool fans, I'm sick of saying it, like we're missing those two, but we are missing our main two defenders, our main three defenders, I should say. And Thiago was kind of like the gloss on top of that, was kind of meant to give us like that thing we've been crying out for, like a bit of attacking nous from midfield, which usually it's just fullbacks bombing forward and then your front three, and then they're your output. Everyone else just kind of gets into position and kind of as like a base to kind of defend everything else. But Thiago's came in and tried to give us something else in terms of midfield, but he hasn't really had the opportunity to kind of do that position to the best of his ability because we're plugging holes all over the field. He's plugging holes in midfield. He's playing in the six, which if he's got the right defenders behind him, he could do, and he could do it really well. But he's in my opinion, he'd be better on the side of a three, and I don't think we've seen him as much in that position as we want him to, and I don't think he's got in the right frame of mind to kind of go, right, I can go forward and in behind me, I'm going to be fine because we've got good defenders there that can kind of stem the flow, and we can, like Chris said before as well, being high up the field, we can kind of throttle teams, and we just haven't had the opportunity to do that. So it's just trying to find different options, and for me, he's done well. I mean, obviously, he's came from Bayern, he's got a big pedigree and whatever else, and there's been a lot of question marks about him because he's won the Champions League, he's won everything, and I think everyone kind of thought he was going to come in and kind of just be another Steven Gerrard and just kind of go take it by storm and just got like assist loads and kind of drag us forward in games. But I don't think he's that type of player really, and it's just kind of getting our edge around that and kind of thinking, well, if we get top four this season, that's huge, and then we go again next season with some semblance of defence back, and hopefully some incoming transfers as well.
No, absolutely. I mean, Chris, if you're Thiago, are you possibly regretting it at the minute in terms of that he's left obviously Bayern, he's coming to like Liverpool, and I know obviously you rotate quite a lot. I mean, it's probably his second season, isn't it? It's probably a case of second season he probably turns up, but you don't turn into a poor player overnight or an average player overnight from what he was.
No, I think he moved to Liverpool because he wanted a new challenge, because he'd won all he could win it in Germany, he'd won all he could win in Spain. So I think he wanted another big league under his belt. I think the plan for Liverpool was always to play Fabinho and Henderson as a 2 with Thiago in front. I think that was the plan. But we've only ever played that midfield once this year due to one of them not being available, one of them having to play centre-back. So I also, with Thiago, think he's a bit of a victim of circumstances. So, look, he has shown bits of class. The Real Madrid thing is a surprise, but by the looks at it, Klopp clearly wanted a more industrial midfield who would press hard and, run Madrid ragged, which it did in the second leg. The problem was the first leg, it was just shambolic, the midfield he picked. And interestingly, that midfield he picked against Madrid, the last time they played, when we got beat 7-2 by Villa. So it's a midfield combo that doesn't quite work, even though on paper it should.
Well, that's not the statement, mate, to be fair.
Exactly. So I think that was the plan. It was to try and press them hard for an hour, and then you bring Thiago on to pick holes. But the first half against Madrid was just it was unacceptable. Injuries or no injuries, it was piss poor.
No, absolutely. I mean, what midfields can you see you going with in this game, Mick? Obviously, Kite has been in and out, Thiago in and out, Henderson's still out. I mean, what can you see your midfield three being in this game?
I honestly I can't predict it, because I'm hoping Klopp will do is just kind of go Thiago and Fabinho in a 2 and then just play the front 4, because we all know what Leeds are about. Leeds have organised chaos, just running everywhere, trying to cause as much panic as they can in behind. The man marking thing still gets me, the way they do that. So I think I'm hoping that he'll just go 4-2-1-3 and just kind of go Bobby in the hole and then the usual front 3, and we like Joe said, like Ayling up against Mane, it could be a bit of a mismatch, but I'm hoping that he just maybe goes for the 2 and then Bobby just sitting in deep and kind of pick his off as you're going forward, and I'm hoping that can be our way in behind. And we've got to fight fire with fire in these games. Like the first game showed it, 4-3. It was just mental, weren't it? It was a mental game, and I'm glad we came out on the good side of that. And I'm thinking it could be very similar again on Monday, and that's why I'm hoping he goes for as much, industry, but also creativity. Having Thiago and Bobby in the same team, and also the front 3 could work in our favour in this game. I mean, if we were playing Newcastle, I imagine like a Millie would play or more industry in there, but up against the Leeds, who are really good quality, we need as much quality in behind to make sure we make the chances count.
Joe, if I'm seeing that front 4 in this game, I'm panicking, mate. Can't hear you, mate. Can't hear you, man.
Sorry, I'm muted. The kids were messing on in the background, so sorry. My apologies. But the names that he's just mentioned there, put the shits up you all right, wouldn't it? I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game, and I think we have made slight tweaks. I don't know if, I'm not going to sit here and profess to fucking know the ins and outs of Bielsa, because I don't think anybody really does, to be fair. But there has been little slight tweaks here and there that, we're not as open as we once were. I think, since Christmas, we've got the most clean sheets at home than anyone else in the League 8. So that shows that we are defensively better. And we've seen that against City, for example, But look, if they're on fire, then I think the thing is they're not on fire. That's the confidence that we have as Leeds United fans. They're not on fire. Leeds United are now undefeated in 4, have won 3 on the bounce. One of them coming away at the Etihad. So naturally we're bouncing, but I'd like to see Milner play just because it's Jimmy Milner. Do you know what I mean? I'd just like to see Milner. It's a shame fans won't be there to welcome him back, kind of thing. But the names they mentioned there, like it'd be put the shits up us, wouldn't it, mate? To be fair.
Nah, no doubt about it at all. No doubt about it. But I mean, Chris, could you see Jimmy Milner possibly playing if Klopp does stick with the 4-3-3, for example?
I would. I'd play him. The only question with Milner is it'll be his 4th game in a row, and at 35, I think we've seen a couple of times this year. We've possibly sometimes put him in for 1 game too many, because it's not an ability thing. Because without Henson there, you do need the leader. Because as good as Fabinho is, he's a very quiet lad. And I think Milner, you need that in it. I mean, we saw in the Madrid game, within 2 minutes, he wipes out one of their players. No, it's very old school, but sometimes you need. Liverpool have needed that. That's probably why they've lost 6 home games in a row, because they haven't had that little bit of a bite when they've needed it. So I wouldn't be against Milner starting, but my concern with Milner is that 1 game too many to. Are you just asking for a hamstring injury, which, to be honest, we couldn't really do without him. So I've got a feeling if he does go over 3, he'll probably put Wijnaldum in again, and then flip to the 4 up front if he needs to do it. The only good thing for us at the moment is, in terms of the league form, we're actually unbeaten in 3 now, including a win away at the Emirates, which is a place we haven't won at since Kenny Dalglish was in charge. So it's a while since. So there are a few things, and the only thing we can say about Kabak and Phillips is every game they've started together in the Premier League, they've kept a clean sheet, which has surprised me. But they actually only game they conceded goals in was Madrid.
Surprises me hearing you say it as well, to be fair.
But then again, if you believe the media, Leeds concede loads of goals, but they don't, because since Christmas, I think you conceded like 5 at home. So, both sides are probably defensively better than they're given credit for. And in terms of our front 4, Firmino and Mane are out of form, but Jota and Salah are bang in. So if it's me, I'm hoping the chances fall to Jota and Salah and don't fall to Mane or Firmino.
That's interesting. It's very interesting. I mean, some people mentioned in the chat about Andy Robertson. Now, I thought Andy Robertson in that game at Anfield against us caused havoc in that game. It's a set-piece delivery on that side of the pitch just causes problems. No end in that game. But obviously, his level's dropped a little bit. Our most dangerous player will we play on his side of the pitch, Rafinha. Does that concern you at all, Chris? Robertson not in the best of form at this moment in time?
It doesn't concern me because I think defensively he's been fine. Attacking wise, it has dropped off, but it was going to because we bought a Greek left back in Tsimikas who has had more injuries than anybody I've known. Every time we get him back, he's got COVID. When we get him back, he's pulled a toenail. So the problem we've got we've just not been able to rotate Robertson. So I think Robertson's dip. Same with Trent. Defensively, actually, both of them have been all right. It's going forward where they're struggling. Robson seems to have lost that whip he can get in his final ball. But generally, Robson 1-on-1's normally pretty decent. So, I mean, look, Rafinha's a different kettle of fish. I mean, there is talk that Rafinha's a doubt. So, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he stays a doubt because he's a very good player.
And Mick, is there any concern for you in terms of out wide, even Harrison against Alexander-Arnold after Anfield? The game at the start of the season when Harrison completely does Trent in the first sort of 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, Robert, like Chris said, I don't think Robertson for me is the worry defensively. It always is Trent, but I think Trent isn't quite getting the praise he deserves for his defensive performances more recently. Anyway, I think he's kind of since the loss of the centre halves and whatever, he's kind of had to change his game as well, like the rest of the team have, because the Liverpool team is so structured. You take any player out of there, we're having to kind of adapt and see what happens. But Trent usually would jog back if we're getting countered, and now he sprints back, and I think that's the difference. He does absolutely leg it back, and I think he has worked on his defensive side of his game. So yeah, I'll always be worried about it up until the point where Trent's like the best defensive fullback in the world, which may never happen. Obviously, he's one of the best offensive fullbacks, but Harrison up against him is one of the battles on the pitch that I am looking forward to. As if I'm hoping, I mean, I shouldn't really say, but I am hoping Rafinha is fit because I want to play the best Leeds side I can. And I mean, Robertson up against Rafinha, that's going to be a good game. And he and I can see Chris's face, but he wants to get forward. And if that happens and Robbo gets in behind him, and obviously if Mane plays, we can cause a bit of havoc down that side as well. Because, I mean, I haven't watched loads of Leeds. I don't know how much he tracks back, but he's a hard-working player. But if Robbo can get the better of him and kind of stifle him, that can have more of an overbearing effect on the rest of the team as well, because he is kind of the key influencer.
I think you make a good point, Mick, because there is times that if Leeds, or we did see it a few times, a couple of games, I think Everton, West Ham possibly, that when we were struggling, we were just giving him the ball. It was quite frustrating to see from a Leeds fan's perspective because we're all about the unit. We haven't seen it recently, but there was an over-reliance on him, like just give him the ball, just give him the ball. And maybe there is something in that, Oscar. I don't know what you think. If Robertson did do a job on him, and maybe would that have a knock-on effect? Because even against City, although he didn't have his best game, he was always an outlet. He was always a threat, you know. That's why he's doubtful for this game, because Fernandinho wiped him out, which is a joke, really. But he did it, you know. It happens, doesn't it? It's for, you're not getting past me, bang, take that, you know. And now he's doubtful, so
that's not like Fernandinho, is it?
But he's out the FA Cup, so there you go. He got what he got.
But it means Chelsea are in the final, bro. I'd rather City, to be honest.
True. But look at the positives, mate.
Speak for yourself.
Really, you'd rather Chelsea win it, Chris?
I've been sick to death of this bloody quadruple tour. We hear it every year, and every year it doesn't happen. So it can be put to bed for another year. I couldn't care less.
You don't want Chelsea winning.
No. Southampton will win it anyway, so we'll be all right. We can all have a laugh then.
But quick question for you fellas. I mean, is that 600 million been spent in the last 6 years under Klopp? I mean, what would you say to that question from Mick? Obviously, do you think you've underachieved or overachieved over the last 6 years?
I mean, I don't know how that looks in terms of like net spend. I know there's a lot of people on Twitter that say net spend. Obviously, we sold Coutinho for absolutely loads, so that kind of balances a little bit. Obviously, we bought Van Dijk and Alisson with that money. I wouldn't say we've underachieved. I'd say we've overachieved, if anything. Like Klopp coming in, kind of the doubts were happening in terms of him thinking, is he the man for the job? Are we going to win the Premier League after all those years? And he did it, and we won the Champions League as well. And he also got us to a couple more finals that we probably should have won as well. So for me, he will go down as one of the best we've ever had to bring that trophy, the Premier League trophy, back home after 30 years. And we need to kind of do that again next year. It's kind of going to be another little mini rebuild job in terms of players going out and players coming in, because there's a lot of doubt about Keita, a lot of doubt about Oxlade-Chamberlain, and there's Shaq, and there's Origi, and there's a lot of players that kind of are on the periphery. You kind of think they're on the way out here, and we don't know who the options are to kind of come in. It could be one that you think is definitely coming in, like be mental, but like an Mbappe, which probably isn't going to happen, but it's more likely to be like a player from left field who's just comes out of nowhere, like a Hotter. We were surprised by that. We're surprised by Fabinho. It's going to be players like that kind of come in. But no, I don't agree with that comment, to be honest, because that's, I think if you look in terms of the net spend, then it you can kind of have more of an overarching view on the finances of what we spend and what we've sold as well.
I don't even think, sorry Chris, just to say, I don't even think, like, you've won a Champions League and a Premier League. That's not underachieving, regardless.
You can't call that underachieving, can you, to be fair?
30 years as well. This is what I'm saying, man. No way.
Well, you know, we're within 1 point of having we're at 1 point of having 2 titles. I mean, the thing to look at with Klopp is you had to have a look at the state of that team he inherited off Rodgers. Mentally, it was broken, and there was so much shite in that side that, you know, it has took us to spend 600 million over 6 years. But look who you're competing against. You're competing against City and United and Chelsea, who probably spend 2 billion. They spend £100 million a year on fullbacks every year. They buy another £50 million fullback. You know, we have to. You know, no one can do that. United every year spend big money on big players because they can. You know, that's what they can do. So you've got to compete. You've got to put it in comparison. 600 million is a lot over 6 years, but again, it's who you have to ship out, and also City can spend that in 2 years and ship nobody else. They could just that's what you're going to.
Yeah. I think the way football is, that's not a lot. We spent 100 million in our summer, and we've just come up. If we want to progress, you're looking at about 100 million every year anyway. So 6 seasons, 600 million, Premier League and a Champions League, we're taking that all day.
It's not bad, is it?
No.
Yeah, and if you look in another day, you're looking at 2 league titles, 2 Champions Leagues, and a League Cup and maybe Europa League, and you'll be going, bloody hell. But that's like ridiculous. You know, that's ridiculous. Not many clubs do that. You know, unless you got the squad City have got.
I mean, if VAR had been around and that, what was it when Ramos did that? What he did to Salah, you probably would have had 2 Champions Leagues anyway. You know what I mean? You look at things like that. You've been on the harsh side of things, and but one player
But in some ways, for Liverpool, losing out in the Champions League or finishing second by a point has probably galvanised them to then kick on to get the Champions League and to kick on to really go for the league. Because the year they won it, there was a bit of a grip between the teeth that they went at a level, went, right, draws are no good. We have to go at the City level of winning games, which I've never seen a Liverpool side do, ever. So as much as those hard times hurt, short term, long term, it's probably done us a bit of good. And I'm hoping what's going to happen with this year is we're going to do what City did last year. City had a ropey year last year. We have a ropey year this year. We'll learn from it and kick on again. That's what you got to hope.
Absolutely. But one player I do want to talk about is Trent Alexander-Arnold, because for me, in terms of the media and whole stick he gets on social media and that, because he's set the level so high, he's almost like you'll get what Bielsa is to us in that kind of sense, that he gets all this stick and that lot. No one looks at his good points; they just hammer him for his bad points. I don't get it. I mean, what do you make to it, Chris? I mean, look, I know this season he's not been great, but you got to look at the fact that he's 22. Is he 22 now?
Yeah, 22. Won a league, won a Champions League. He's, in my opinion, he's still the best right back in the league. But because Liverpool on a bad season, you've got to pick faults in it. Put it this way, they don't pick faults in shit right backs, and there are plenty of shit right backs in the league. They just have to find a hole in. So the thing is, he can't defend at all, which is bollocks. He's better going forward than he is defensively because that's the type of player he is. But the talk that he can't defend is nonsense. And I've seen the highlight reels that people put out there that says, look at he get done here.
It's an obsession, isn't it?
It is
an obsession. You can tell a player's good when there's an obsession to batter him in that lot and say, Reece James would never do this and all this lot. But for you, mate, obviously this England issue in terms of the Euros, Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher had this big debate and that lot. And I was actually more on the side of Carragher on it, and in that kind of sense. But it still looks like Southgate's going to go with a Reece James or a Kyle Walker at right back rather than Trent. What do you make to that?
Moronic. You've got a lad with that much talent. You get him in your squad. No, if you don't want to start him, you want to start a more defensive-minded right back. Sound. Do that. But if England are being honest, Southgate will play 3 at the back. He'll play 2 holding midfielders. So if you're going to go with that in an England Euros, which is what he's going to go, because he goes with 2 holding midfielders when he's playing bloody San Marino at home, you want 2 attacking fullbacks. So you probably want a Luke Shaw. You probably want a Trent to say, I really want you to go on. And the delivery he provides, I get bored in football when it's always the focus on what a player can't do. I never look at what a player can do. And his pluses outweighs negatives. Listen, I've got nothing against Reece James. For what I've seen, he's a really good defender. He's decent defensively. He's good going forward. But he's not. He's in and out the Chelsea side. We're not talking like he's playing every week. And he's still not achieving yet what Trent's achieving. Wan-Bissaka's the other lad. Defensively, 1-on-1, he's brilliant. But attacking-wise, he's good, but he can improve. But my thing with someone like a Wan-Bissaka, which never gets brought up, is look at the goals United concede. It's always the striker between Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof, because Wan-Bissaka doesn't quite have the awareness yet to look over his shoulder who's running behind him. And he gets caught out with that, whereas Trent's quite good at that, but 1-on-1 he can do better. You could pick holes in every right back. Kyle Walker, he's 28, and he still gives the same penalty where he always gives him, which is the player runs behind him, he doesn't see him and he cracks him. He's been giving that penalty away since he was 22. And that's never going to change. But no one talks about that because he's playing for a team that's winning. No one talks about it. But last year, everyone was talking about how bad Kyle Walker was defensively. So, look, Trent's just the flavour of the month for the latest one to have a go at. They can't have a go at Henderson because he's injured. So it's Trent now. Next year it'll be another English lad who'll get blamed for something. Probably whoever knocks us out the World Cup, or whoever knocks England out the Euros. One English lad will get blamed for it, and that English lad then will be the new media scapegoat. I find it tiresome, but I always think it's a compliment. If they're always slacking your players off, it's because they're threatened by him. Yeah,
Calvin's getting it at the minute. What's he doing in the England squad?
He
shouldn't
well.
be there. He's keeping so and so out. He's keeping so and so out. There's a reason that he's there, man. But yeah.
But who's he keeping out? Calvin. The only 3 defensive players I can think that'll play for England is Henderson, Rice, and him. Who is the other defensive player that realistically we could say, he should be ahead of any of them? Look, I mean, England, I can't really give a shit, to be honest. I've kind of lost belief in watching England. I find it dull. But defensively, whenever I've seen Phillips play, I always thought he looks good. He looks a decent player. He's not what I call a crab. He's not a crab. He doesn't just do simple passes back. You know, he is progressive with his passing, which is a criticism you can have of some England DMs in the past. Is like Scott Parker. He was a good DM, but he wasn't very expansive with his passing for England, and that's where he lets you down. So I've got no problem. It just seems to be whoever the homegrown lad is, especially if the homegrown lad gets hammering. You're going to tell me now he's not from Leeds, aren't you? But I'm sure he's from Leeds, isn't he, Phillips?
He is.
Yeah, the homegrown lad always gets slammed for it.
He plays at the Mushy, mate. He played at the Mushy as a kid. But Mick, what do you make to Alexander-Arnold? Do you still think he's going to be or is still the best right back or full back in the world?
I think he is, but to be honest with England, I honestly couldn't give a shit. It's just I'm just so bored of it all. It's just like scapegoat here, scapegoat there, and it's like Chris said, like they're always looking for the negatives, and they're never like, for me, when you think of the best right backs in the world, you're thinking of like a Cafu, you're thinking of a Dani Alves. Were they that great at defending? They were so good going forward, whipping balls into the box and creating havoc in the opposition half of the field. That's what Trent is, and if he weren't English, he wouldn't be getting anything. He wouldn't be getting any stick because it would be right. Oh, he's a cultured fullback. He's going forward. He's doing this, doing that. He's whipping balls into the box, getting assists. Like the numbers he was getting last year is just shouldn't even be attainable for a fullback. The fact that he was doing that, him and Robbo were just setting new levels, and it's the same with Mane. He's made a rod for his own back because he's been that good. That when he drops below that, it's so much more noticeable, and it is a shame that he's been getting a load of grief. But seeing Rio Ferdinand sticking up for him a little bit with some United fans on Twitter, that was a bit of a laugh, seeing their faces going, "Oh, he just spams crosses in, he just does that," and then Rio was like, well, he does all this other stuff as well. Like he whips balls into the box, he creates stuff, he's got that killer pass that not many people in world football can do. It is De Bruyne, like, in my opinion, the way he can slice open a defense, and it's in that Madrid game, albeit we didn't score when we needed to. He was our best player, and he was kind of driving us forward from that right back area. So for me, he's the best in the league, and I think he is also of suffering a little bit with the no centre backs and having two new fellas in there. He hasn't got that security that he needs to kind of have someone in there to kind of fill in for him, like not having Henderson as well, who does so well on that right side of a three in midfield. He fills in for him, so he's having to adapt as well. And the fact that he's still there, he's still making us tick. He's still obviously not getting the same amount of assists, but he's still playing as well. He's had a few dips here and there, but for me, he's still our main man when we need him, and more often than not, he does step up and pushes forward when we need him to.
I mean, there was a time where the English right backs, your choices were Glenn Johnson, Gary Neville, Danny Mills, and Micah Richards. Like, this is the thing, and we're moaning about this. England fans who are moaning about like Trent Alexander. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. But something I did notice. Sorry, Chris.
Only because I'm old enough to remember, I'm sure Joe, I'm assuming Joe as well, is we had all the same chat about Ashley Cole. And that's will probably get clipped up now if it goes wrong. But Ashley Cole can't defend. He's great going forward. He can't defend. He ended up being one of the best English left backs we've ever had. What was he? He was a brilliant attacking fullback, and he developed his defensive game and became stalwart. But people forget the fact that for the first 5-6 years Ashley Cole was playing football, everyone told you he couldn't defend, he was shit. And then he ended up being one of those players who pocketed Ronaldo, which not many players can say they've ever done. So it's the cycle. It's just the latest lad that they're going to pick on.
He's a bell end Ashley Cole, though, isn't
he? He is though. But as a player, he's fantastic.
Trent seems cool. Ashley Cole's a bell end.
As a pundit, Ashley Cole, Jesus Christ, just shut up, Ashley. Like, I know you're a good player, mate, but you haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Let's look at pundits. Me and Joe went to town last night on that.
Yeah, we were talking about it, weren't we?
It's always needed. Look, something I did spot earlier in the week when I saw the Echo in the shop was Luis Suarez. It's been linked with a return. I mean, he's out of contract, I believe, in the summer. Do you see? All right, I'm going to ask you two questions, Mick. Do you see it happening? Do you want it to happen?
I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. What is 30, 34 now? Is he getting on for 35?
Yeah, I think so.
I would love it to happen just for the pure romance of it, like Suarez coming home and whatever else. Not home, but you know what I mean. Like come back to the league and kind of doing a job for Liverpool. But nah, I can't see it. If it happens, I'll be made up. But I just can't see it the way we are at the moment. Obviously, we need the big fellas to come back in at centre half and whatever else. But I think it'll be more, like I said before, like more of like a Fabinho or Jota type of signings that we need that are on people's radars. Maybe like a Rafinha, like obviously how good he is, someone like that who can play all three of the four positions. That's what's key for us. Like a Hotter coming and done so well. He can play wherever. He's played up front. He's played on the left. Played on the right. Can play in the 10. So someone like that. We need a few more of those in the squad. Obviously, we've got like the likes of Shaq and Origi who can do that. But when you compare those coming off the bench to the likes what City can bring off the bench, it's just like chalk and cheese. It's not even comparable to what they can bring off the bench. Like they have Foden on the bench today, which says a lot of what good form he's in. But yeah, I'd love it, but I just can't see it, unfortunately.
And Chris, what was your thoughts on that?
I get the link because I was saying in January, Liverpool need to go and find someone like a Cavani, like an experienced head, just as a plan B, a break glass, like a Giroud, just someone who's a bit different to what you have. I can't see it happening, and I don't want it to happen, to be honest. I can't be arsed with all the baggage that comes with him. We've had him. He was great for a couple of years. We had him. He was exciting, but that's done. That's dusted. I'm not arsed about him coming back. It's to me, it's I'd rather try something new. These fabled second comings very rarely work, and to be honest with him,
well, he's about 3 stone heavier than when he was last at. He's still a great player, but he was about 3 stone heavier than when he was last at Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason he might come back now is because Norwich got promoted, and he just like scores hat-tricks against Norwich.
10 goals, yeah.
Yeah, so that might be the only good reason to bring him back is just for the 2 Norwich games. But other than that, not for me.
Okay, fair enough. But I mean, Joe, is there any specific areas you're worried about on Monday night?
Yeah. Everywhere, really. Nah, look, I'm not concerned about the centre backs. I'm not. They actually really excite me. I know we was having this chat yesterday, Chris. I'm Kabak.
Is that where you bullied me?
Yeah, I bullied you, yeah. At 9 o'clock, I've got my joint Leeds versus Liverpool 11 over on my channel, so you'll see why we're chatting about that. But, yeah, everywhere else worries me, of course. I know Trent's... is he out of form? I'm not really sure. He's got a great goal against Villa, but both of them worry me, of course. Like Mick said, Mick was bang on the money, They can get in behind us as well as us going the other way. Rafinha does, and Jack Harrison do track back, really well. But what if Rafinha don't make it? Then you've got Costa. But yeah, of course, anywhere across the pitch, Liverpool are not. I know they're not having a great season. It's like Leeds, right? If you take out Calvin, we fall to bits. We fall to bits when Calvin comes out of the side. Regardless of how good people are around, like the guys were saying about Trent, for example. Of course, he's going to get exposed more if he doesn't have Henderson there and he doesn't have Van Dijk there. They're 2 exceptional players. So it's individually, they're brilliant, Liverpool. I guess as a unit, it's not as great as it once was because you've taken a couple of players out of it, which happens with every side, man. But yeah, of course, I'm concerned, mate. Thiago... as you know, he's not had the best season, but he's an absolute baller. Jota, Salah, and again, like even Mane. I suppose in a sense, maybe if it is as open as it was previously, this might be a game for Liverpool to get their mojo back. Do you know what I mean? And really, really have a go. It might be the perfect foil for them. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, of course, I'm concerned.
I could just see Dallas being man marking Thiago, like literally wherever he goes, just follow him. Bit like how he did against City. But I mean,
like Part G's son on Perlo.
What was that? Where was that? I'm trying to remember when that was.
I forget, but what did Perlo say? He was like a dog, didn't he? He just said he was like a dog.
Oh yeah. It was. I know what you mean now. I know what you mean now, man. That's It's. But I mean, what's the opinion now on that? Obviously, Klopp. I know what he's done for Liverpool, Mick. But is he fully backed by the Liverpool fan base? I've seen a couple of. He's got a bit of stick on social media from Liverpool fans, but I know social media is never a good place to judge reactions and that lot. But even Bielsa's had a bit of stick from Leeds fans. But what's the opinion on Klopp? Is he still universally backed by Liverpool fans?
I think from the sensible people I know he is, but it's just the age of the banter era on Twitter. Just people just want to say just absolutely crazy shit things just to get likes, and it's just really tiresome. Like the old FSG out, and then whenever John Henry, our owner, tweets, he gets a load of abuse going, "Oh, sign this player. Where's Haaland? Where's Mbappe?" Just usual shit like that, and you're just like, just go away. But it's I think from all the sensible heads, he's obviously backed because, like some of the comments in the chat saying like there's no doubt on his world class ability as a manager and as a coach and as a guy who's came in and kind of just embraced the culture of Liverpool. Like there's no one that could have handpicked better than him to come in and kind of get the club and get the city and acclimatise the way he has and kind of take everything on board and get involved in the history and just everything that he does. I can't fault it. Obviously, the way we're playing at the moment, it's not great, and obviously, like Chris said, we've won our last 3 in the league, which is good, but because we do have this kind of solidified 11, and we don't usually make that many changes. We're not a team to chop and change. It does have a big effect when we lose big players in there, but if we can get top 4 this season, then I consider that a major success for this year, and we can kind of regroup again next year. But for me, I think he's got a contract for another 3 years till 2024. So if he can stay beyond that, 90% of the sensible people will be made up with that, because he is just an absolute don at picking players out of the rough and making them into the diamond, like Trent coming in and from the youth set up and doing so well, picking Rodson up and Fabinho and Hotter and all these other players and Mane and Salah and whoever else he's kind of turned these players into what they are. And I don't think people realise, like, for example, I looked the other day when we signed Mane and there was like a tweet on from Sky Sports and all the United fans in the replies are like, 37 million on I don't know what they were saying, like a shit left winger. You could have got this player. You could have got Mkhitaryan for less than that. You could have got this player. You could have got that player. And now you look now, and he's not in great form now, but he's one of the best in the world and has been, like 20 plus goals in his previous 3 years. That's from him being a great player, but that's also from Klopp moulding him into that. And that it's the little things like that. Well, not little things, but that's little building blocks of what makes Klopp such a good manager and such a great coach, and we're lucky to have him for the things that he's done and for the things that he's won for us.
I think in terms of badly aging tweets, though, I don't think anything will ever beat that tweet. I was trying to think who it was who said that Charlie Adam was going to be a better signing for Liverpool than Aguero at City. Yeah. Who was it that put that? It comes up every time Aguero scores. It comes up.
Oliver Holt, and when Aguero announced,
such a bad take. It's a really bad take.
If it was Oliver Holt after Aguero announced he was leaving City, Oliver Holt retweeted and he goes, "Guess I can finally put this to bed." He goes, "Not one of my finer points." So in fairness, I did think at least you laugh and go, "I just got this wrong." I mean, if you want to see bad takes, I'm sure you can Google it. There's a certain, I think some United fans who described signing Van Dijk as the Dutch Chris Smalling, which was the funniest take I've ever seen. It's amazing how this thing. In terms of Klopp, though, I agree with Mick. Sensible Liverpool fans, of course, are behind him. I mean, he's not without criticism. There are tactical mistakes or substitutions we can all go look a bit baffling. People still won't forgive him for playing Jota and a dead rubber. He also played a few other key players in dead rubbers and they didn't get injured. It's sod's law. I do wonder with Klopp, and the big concern I have with Klopp was, having lost a parent myself, losing your mum in a COVID year and you're not allowed to go to a funeral because of COVID rules, I don't care who you are, how positive a person you are, that's got to affect you. And that's got to have affected his thinking, which, maybe there's a question about his staff there with, did they protect him enough? Did they help him enough? Because, you could tell in January he wasn't enjoying life, but, who can blame him? So the thing with Klopp is he tends to be a manager who learns from his mistakes. So this season, while it hasn't been great for us, could be the biggest learning curve for him to go, right, if I go through something like this again, I know how to adapt to a losing streak at home. I know which players I can trust and which players I need to bin now because I can't trust them anymore. So long term, I think it'll probably help him out. But yeah, look at anyone who's doing these Klopp outs and FGR, it's attention seeking. It's reactionary stuff. We all do reactionary things. We all say silly things. It's just some people need to think before they tweet. But that's the world of social media. That's how it is.
I think you get to a level where you've done so much for the club where you can be let off, can't you? I mean, Joe, if Bielsa next season, if Leeds start next season badly, we're not. There's got to be a certain level of where you've achieved so much that. Yeah, maybe results are a bit bad, but I don't know. I'm glad to hear Liverpool fans have got that way of thinking. It's just, but it's got to be.
It's idiots,
man.
Way, that's all it is. It's idiots, man. We have people on here saying that we've had it, man. We had it. We had people convinced we were getting relegated. People, oh man, it's stupid, man. The idiots.
Middle of last season, when people were saying Bielsa out after the Forest game, when Forest won the league.
Crazy. It's crazy because you just revolutionised everything at Leeds, and I suppose Klopp's had a similar sort of effect at Liverpool, just totally revolutionised it, playing the best football I've been able to see as a Leeds United fan. But there will be small sections, like the majority that...
There always are, aren't there?
Yeah, don't have a Scooby-Doo, basically. Just sat at home. Tweeting shit, they don't understand it, But he could next season, mate. He could lose every game, and we could go down, and I would not. I couldn't care. Plus, I've got a tattoo of the man on me, so it'd be shit if people wanted him bombed out. Imagine that big cover up. Sam Allardyce saves us. Big cover up of Sam Allardyce on my leg.
You'd rather get relegated than have Sam Allardyce, surely.
Yeah, true.
Oh, dearie me. But can you see much change in the summer, Chris? I mean, can you see many people coming in, coming out, or do you think it'll just be little slight tweaks like what City have done, really? Bringing in Diaz, bringing in obviously a couple of other players and that loss.
I can see 3 coming in that are, in brackets, first teamers. As in, I do think we'll look for a partner for Van Dijk. Because Matic's made of biscuits, so we can't trust him. I think Kabak might be kept on, but as a squad option. And Joe Gomez, the type of knee injury he's got, from what I've read about it, it's a common knee injury if you play NBA basketball, as in it's lots of jumping. It's not an injury a footballer gets. To blow your tendon across your kneecap, it's quite rare. So there is always a concern with Joe Gomez. I hope he comes back to the player he was. But, for Joe, this is now his 3rd knee injury, is it? Third major injury. He's done his ACL, he's now done his knee again, he's broken his ankle once. I think he's had another ankle operation, and he's only 23. There is the concern with Joe, not his ability, just how many big injuries can you set? Because I think that's what's killed Ox's career a little bit at Liverpool. It's one big injury too many. So I do think we'll need a centre back, a starting centre back here. I mean, the talk is this chap from Leipzig, Canate, who I've seen bits of, but there is an injury concern about him. You need to find a Gini replacement because Gini's, from all accounts, Gini's going, sadly. It's just, it's sadly because he's been really good for us. It may be that time when perhaps we are needing that bit of evolution. I'm not sure, though, if the Gini replacement will be a like for like. I think we might go for a more attacking midfield option. And then I think Liverpool do need another forward. Now, whether that's another right winger like a Salah, so you can move Salah to the middle, or a proper number 9, who that is, I don't know. I think they're the 3 big ones. And then the rest, then there will be more than that, but they'll just more be like for likes, like Adrian's leaving, so you'll bring in a cheap backup. You might look to find a cheap backup to give Nico Williams a loan.
Can I interest you in Kiko Casilla, Chris?
No thanks, mate. I'd rather keep Karius. I'm not saying something.
It's always worth a try. Every opposition preview, try that, you say. Every opposition.
Does that mean that Ben Davies isn't going to be a stalwart centre back at Liverpool then? Is that
don't think so about it?
that's all that talk's gone really quiet. I think from what I've seen him in the Premier League, the biggest issue I see with Ben Davies is aerially. I don't think he's good enough, and I think for the way we play, we do need a bit more of an aerial dominant centre back. That's what we miss with Van Dijk at the moment. So you probably got your free run at Ben Davies there if you want it, mate.
No, you're all right, mate. You're all right. Bit of a weird one, that, wasn't
it? Yeah, it just has the Premier League move doesn't seem to quite work for Ben. I mean, he's still young. How old is he? 21? Quite young, isn't he? Still. So
I don't know. It's just a strange one, man. Should go after Ben White. Liverpool should go after Ben White. That'd be my pick. Should go after Ben White.
Yeah, I mean Ben Davies. I do wonder if he was. I think he was brought in just as the backup. The backup of the backup was like, we want Kabak or the lad we wanted from Marseille. If we can't get them, at least we've got Davies as a body. It wouldn't surprise me that his next game for football is playing for Celtic. I think he might just get sold for more than what we paid for him, which will no doubtly piss a lot of fans off.
Okay, I mean, Mick, would you agree with what Chris is saying? It'll be some change in the summer.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously missing having Van Dijk, Gomez come back in, and Matip, like Chris said, he made of biscuits or whatever else he's made of. He's just made of fucking plywood. I don't know.
Rice Krispies is a good one.
Yeah, he's so good, but you just can't get him on the field. And I'm hoping Gomez can come back and find his form as well and not get any more injuries because he can't afford it. Because we know how good he is as Liverpool fans, and I think. For me, when he was in that partnership with him and Van Dijk, he was for me the best English centre back because he's good in the air, pacey, good on the ball, can carry it forward. He's got everything, but he just doesn't stay fit often enough. So Kabak will probably stay. I imagine that'll be a good deal. 18 million. I think he's done quite well. Yeah, another forward as well would be nice. I don't know what it depends. Depends on like maybe Harvey Elliott. I mean, he's only a young kid still, but there's a shout for him to come back and he's
done well, hasn't he? Is it Blackburn? He's apparently done pretty well.
Blackburn, yeah. I think he scored yesterday. I think that's 11 goals and like 6 assists or something like that. He's doing really well, but he could come in and be another squad player and kind of add to that quality. I mean, there's a lot of I think it's kind of. A lot of people saying he should go back out on loan because he's quite young, but I would love him to kind of come back into the squad and add a bit more creativity in that midfield three, or as kind of maybe in other games where Salah might not be maybe towards the end of the game.
Could he be the Shaqiri replacement?
He could, yeah. I think that's what would have happened if last summer was a normal summer and not a COVID summer. I think Elliott stays, Shaq leaves. And then we kind of go from there. But obviously we couldn't get rid of Shaq because no one had any money. We kind of kept him and then thought, well, we need to get rid of Elliott and give him some game time. But yeah, like Chris said as well, Kanate, not seeing much of him, seeing drips and drabs. He's good in the air, but yeah, another injury worry over his injury history. But yeah, it's going to be an I am looking forward to see what we do this summer because. Like I said, like Klopp does tend to like just pick someone out of nowhere, and you go, of course, that's a good signing. And it kind of after like 5-6 games, you're like, yeah, that's exactly why he signed him, and none of us had a clue about it. So I'm hoping he has a couple of them this year, this summer.
He tends to quite go for going for somebody who was a hot prospect, say 2 years ago. Like Mane was supposed to go to United probably a year, 18 months before he came to Liverpool, and he was like the hot topic that everyone talked about. And he stayed at Santos for a year. And no one really talked about Mane. They were focused on other players, and that's when Liverpool pick him up. That seems to be when we get them, when they were the flavour of the month, the big one that everyone talks about. And when they go off the radar, that tends to be who he goes for. So it's not always a cheap option. It's just someone that's a little bit like a good player that you don't always think of. I mean, who are you guys thinking you're going to do in the summer?
I mean, the interesting thing is obviously what happens to Rafinha if we can keep hold of him. But I think
he's not going anywhere, man, this summer.
Don't think?
No, not this summer, no.
I'm quietly confident, but one player I think we're in a bit of a battle with is Rodrigo de Paul. I think obviously you guys are looking at him as well, I think. We're hoping to get that one done. There's no
Tagliafico we've been linked with today as well at Ajax, left back, so that'd be an interesting one.
He was good against us. He was really good against us. Good player. I mean, he definitely upgrade on the chap you've got left back now.
Yeah, Alioski's shite. His pants.
No,
hopefully he has a good game. He has a good game Monday.
He's a good one, Alioski. When we played that 2 games against Ajax, he was a handful. He did, he's one of the few players I've seen outpace Mane, which not many players can do. So that's when you're watching. Oh, this is an interesting fella. So he'd be good for you. Are you good? Have you guys got Harrison on loan, or is he a permanent?
He's our player, mate. He's our player. We could have made it permanent last summer, but we just, instead of paying 8, we moved it on to next summer just for cash reasons, and we'll pay 11 this summer. So he's already our player. It's just we're moving it on. So
no, that's fine. So it's not one we're City going to mess you about then.
Nah.
And even try it if they want, but it's ours.
What's that? Sorry.
They can try it if they want, but he's ours. He's ours now. He's Jackie Boy.
Cool. And do you think you'll get another striker, or are you happy with the striker you got? I'm just being curious there.
I'd love Tammy Abraham, mate. The fact he's not getting a run out at Chelsea, I'd love Tammy Abraham.
Phil said no. I suggested Tammy Abraham on Monday, and Phil said we don't want Tammy Abraham.
Oh, mate, his goal scoring record's exceptional, man. He's a top player. I think he would fit straight in as well. But I don't know what we'll do in that respect, mate. Because all depends on where Rodrigo fits. Because if we bring in a new 8. Where does Rodrigo fit? Is he then back up to Bamford? Does he try and get past Bamford in terms of... Because the real test for me is Bamford next season. Because he's lit up the Premier League but there's no guarantees he'll do it next. So it's all about that consistency, and that's where we have to see Bamford has to be consistent and get the same amount of goals next season. Otherwise, we need to look elsewhere.
If you do end up in the Europa Conference... having in your head one too many is not a bad idea. Having seen Liverpool over years go through the Europa League, for some reason Europa League, and I think it's a real drain on your squad, even when you're playing some quite random clubs. So if you go into a season and you think, I've got one striker too many, you'll soon find Europa Conference or Europa League football, actually having the one extra striker or the one extra midfielder that you didn't think you need can actually do you some good.
We won't do it though. Bielsa don't do it, Chris. He'll only operate with a small squad. He did in the Championship, mate, when we played 46 games plus cup competitions. He will not go. He even said, we got rid of quite a few young players that were prospects that we were surprised would leave, but he said, I can't give them game time. And if I can't give them game time, I don't want them kicking around the joint. He wouldn't have made that Pearson signing that, and that's not a slant on Klopp. If anything, sometimes I wish he would have more players in the squad, but he just won't do it. If they won't get game time, he'll just say, "Nah, sorry, away you go." And I suppose that's respectful towards the players as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get game time, so there's no point in you being here, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Mick might disagree, but that's always been Klopp's thing with Liverpool is I like a small squad. I've always had a small squad, and he slowly, I think, got into the habit of he does need a bigger squad than probably he's comfortable with, because I think he's now realised to compete the way he wants to compete, we need a bigger squad. I mean, to be honest, we actually need a squad as big as we've got, but ones that can actually stay fit, which is a slightly different this too.
Yeah, I think so. I think this season's proved it. If anything was going to, it's losing your 3-year centre arse, losing Henderson, losing other players, and once you do that, you need players to come in and kind of fill that void in the same manner. And unfortunately, we haven't got that. So, yeah, I think we do need to kind of do that to kind of keep ourselves on top of our game. But like I say, Chris, I think Klopp would have learned a lot from this season. So I'm hoping, going into next year, if we can secure 4th, it's going to be huge, and we can kind of just get the building blocks ready for next year to go again.
Fingers crossed.
Well, let's have some predictions in before we sign off. Let's have some quick predictions in. Mick, I'll go to you first, mate. Leeds, Liverpool. What are you saying, mate?
I fancy a 3-2 Liverpool win. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, and I just feel like it's going to be just like a basketball game again, just got backwards and forwards. So, and I'm just hoping we come out on the right side of it again. So yeah, I'm gonna go 3-2.
Okay, Chris.
Is Kiko in goal for you?
No.
In that case, I'll stick to what I said last night with Joe. I've got 2-1 Liverpool, Salah double.
Just out of interest, what would it have been if I said Kiko was playing?
I probably said 4-1, just because that'd be the one time we have a bit of luck that we come against a keeper who's shit, but it's very rare that we do. So, but no, jokes aside, I've said to a few of my friends, looking at Liverpool's running, I've said Leeds away and Man United away are probably the 2 most difficult games we have. So if we come out of this with a 2-1 win, I'll be made up.
Okay. Joe?
I'm going for a Desmond, mate. I've said it all week. I don't know why. I normally back us for a win as well, but I've just got 2-2 in my head. 2-2. And I'll take a point. Give me a point.
That normally means when you say draw.
No. Don't mean we're going to lose.
It does normally.
No, I swear to God.
Go on, Joe. Tell the truth.
I've got a little bit of trepidation as well because I got the City result right, and I just think beating Liverpool as well afterwards. So I'm like in my own head thinking, just curb it a little bit, take a point, and we'll see. But if we beat Liverpool, bro, then. Wow, yeah, that'd be amazing. Liverpool and City back to back would be some mean feat, but 2-2, I think, mate.
Just rest all your players. Let us have the win, and then you go and batter United next week. Well,
that's the thing. I want to get these points in the bank because if we get beat by that shower again, then it's like, at least we got maximum points over the last two. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, 2-2, mate. 2-2. What about you?
I would quite happily take Jota, Mane and Salah doing the conga in our own box and scoring a hat-trick each if it means we win next week. I'm still saying that. If it means we win next week, I'd take absolutely anything to win this one. But no, I think we'll get something here. I think we'll get something. I'm going to go 1-1. I think both teams, I think certainly us, we're better defensively than what we were at Anfield. Liverpool, I don't think quite as strong going forward. But I'm going to go 1-1. If Rafinha wins that battle against Robertson, though, I think we can win it. I think that, as Chris said earlier on, and Mick said as well, I think that could be quite a big part of the game. You look at that battle. But I'm going to back us. I'm going to say 1-1.
You're going to back us and get a point?
Yeah. That's a bit of a Michael Owen, wasn't it? That was a Michael Owen, that wasn't it? Dear me, what was that? Was a shock.
You may as well say we can get one of 3 results, and I reckon we'll get one of them.
Yeah. Oh, dear me. It's that was a shocker, that wasn't it? As soon as I said it, I thought, God, I hope no one picks up on that. What I've just said then. But,
unfortunately, everyone heard it.
Yeah, everyone heard that. That was a shocker. That one. It was a shocker. But anyway, we will leave it there. Big thanks to Mick from the Copite. Where can we find you, man?
You can find us on YouTube, the Copite Podcast. Also on Twitter, Copite Podcast, Instagram and Facebook as well. Copite Podcast.
Is it pre-post? What? When we beat you on Monday, Mick, where can we find you? What will you be doing?
On Monday
jail.
we'll be. Me and Jay will be crying into a corner somewhere if that happens. But yeah, just search the Copite Podcast on YouTube, and we'll be straight up. So we do team news now before, obviously. We've done our preview just before this one, so it'll be that's up now, and then we'll be straight after the game. So like 10 minutes after the game's finished, we'll be straight on for the instant match reaction. So yeah, if you're any Leeds fans watching, I was going to say, all of you going, if you use beaters, go and have a look at that and go and watch me and Jay crying.
And Chris, where can we find you, man?
LFC Day Tripper, so Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all our shows are on YouTube. We tend to do 5 to 6 shows a week. I think the only day we have off is Saturdays. Joe appears in our Friday forecast for us as well. So post-match will probably be on Monday night. We normally do a thing called the forum. So we normally just pick 4 subjects that each of the guys want to talk about, but there will be a post-match. We've just launched a new website, which we're saying to people, you can enter articles in. And we are still pushing, so if you guys can help us, our Keane Strong campaign at the moment. So we're trying to raise 100k for a young lad called Keane, who he's nearly 2 now. He's sadly been diagnosed with a brain tumor, and he lives in America. So it's a friend of somebody at the Day Tripper. So we're trying to raise 100k to go towards medical expenses. I believe we're over the 80k mark now. So if you go on our website, there is a GoFundMe page there. So we're trying to push that as much as you can. So even if you don't like Liverpool, if you could just give to that, or even just give it a reshare off our Twitter page, it'd be much appreciated.
100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We just had a super chat come in just from Rune, who says, "Thanks guys from my hospital bed. Really passed a bit of time. So thanks for watching as well. I just want to do a bit of a self plugging as well. On the Just Your Football show, which is my own channel, I've done a combined 11 with Chris. just of Leeds and Liverpool players' current form. That's live now, premiering as this finishes. So if you want to, you 190 people who are watching this, jump over and watch that and see me bully Chris into getting a full 11 of Leeds players in.
Oh, dear. I wasn't allowed Van Dijk, Nick. He refused to let me have him.
No, Van Dijk. Or was it just fit players? Or
it's based on this season. It's based on this season.
Yeah. It's based on current form. So the likes of Van Dijk and Henderson are injured. So I can't pick players who are injured. Sadly.
I bet Joe didn't let you have Salah.
Oh no, I got that. He wouldn't let me have a Liverpool centre back, so we had to have Cooper in, which really upset me.
I wasn't giving him Kabak. I wasn't giving him. We've gone with. Don't spoil it. You'll have to go watch it, guys. Go watch it.
It's a good
guys.
site,
Check it out. Check it out right now. We're going to sign off now. Get on to Just Joe. Smash that subscribe button. What are you on now, mate? Subs wise? You passed. Is it 1.1?
Yeah, 1.2. Close to 1.2. Yeah, it's going well, mate. It's going well. Cheers.
Get subscribing, guys. There's 188 of you in there. If you can all smash the subscribe button on there, that would be great. And we'll be back tomorrow with the big match preview. And yeah, guys, have a good Saturday night. We'll see you later. See you later, guys.